Hey, how is it going, guys? I'm really excited to come back with you with a really exciting video today against of a BO5 against S2P or PewdBTD, whatever he wants to go by. He's one of the top players in the game. Um, and yeah, it was a really fun best of five, and I was really honored to be able to play him because he's been tier one multiple seasons. Lots of people consider him at least top three in the game right now, so we'll see how this plays out. The first map was just offside. It's pretty much the default starting map. And it looks like we both go Dartling Bomb here. So when we both go Dartling Bomb, I like to send more. Instead of going to 259, I actually go to 277. And the reason being, it can make them leak quite a bit, and it will stop them from getting their 1-0 farm because they have to get their powerful darts first. So it looks like I actually did oversend here a little bit, so I actually sent a little bit more just because it wouldn't really change when I got my farm. But yeah. So I force his powerful darts, so I don't even have to send him any yellows, and then he sends me, any pinks, and he sends me pinks and forces my powerful darts. So pretty standard so far. So pretty much he challenged me to this BO5 because I guess that he thought I was a noob for just playing Koth. Koth is looked down upon from a lot of people in the BTD community for some reason. So he thought I wasn't really that good of a player, so he wanted to challenge me to this BO5, so we'll see how this plays out. The rules are pretty much all strats allowed except NG and Cobra are banned, so it's the same rules as the Koth. And the starting map's offside, and then each player gets to choose their losing map. So here's round 8. I send him yellows. I don't really have enough to force a cluster, sadly, so I just force a frag bombs, and then he does a pretty good play here, which I wasn't expecting, where he actually sells his cannon and goes for a big yellow rush. Now, I can't really rush him back because I need to go for my cluster, so that was definitely a smart play. That was a good play on his part. I'll go for a white rush on round 11, though, just to force his cluster again. And I actually end up forcing another dartling, so that's very solid. That's more than I was expecting from that rush. Round 12, we both send camo leads, pretty standard. I like my second dartling spot a little bit more than his because with the cluster will like kind of break down the lead layer, while this is really good for breaking down the black layer of the leads. Whereas his will get blocked by the balloons later on in their path and won't be able to hit the black layer, if that makes sense. So round 15 here, I'm not going to go for my BIA because I know I'd be susceptible to round 16 rushes. He ends up actually going for his BIA, so I send him a massive rush with leads and zebras and blacks. He ends up boosting, but I actually get really lucky with this rush, and he has to sell his BIA to go for an impact. So I'm definitely winning at this point with that rush. He goes for a bank, and then goes for a rush against me. Instead of going for the impact, I just go for some upgraded dartlings and then just the missile launcher. The reason being, if you send camos with it, this would defend the camos as well. And I also went for my bank on round 17. I defend the Moab, and he ends up all-outing me just because I had that farm lead, and I defend the all-out. So that is game 1 to me. Best of 5. So his losing map was Temple, I believe. Yep. Alright. So I go Dartling Glue on this map. I'm not that comfortable on Temple, so it's kind of bad for me that he picked this map, but we'll see how this plays out. Of course he goes DFA. DFA's meta. But I send a 259, just force this triple dart, and then I go for my farm on round 3. So the main thing when you're playing Dartling Glue is you want to play really aggro and stop their farms. If you get to BIA, that's pretty much lost for me. So I'm anti-stalling the rounds with my Dartling, and I'm also sending rushes to force defense as much as possible. You can see here I send some reds, blues, and then layer pinks over to force that second trip dart, and then he sends me some pinks just to force the powerful darts. We're both going to get our plantations here on round 6, and I'll think I send him, yeah, I'll send him a big green rush on round 6 as well. I boost the greens over, and he ends up going for another trip dart, which is kind of interesting. It's better to go for another sport. The reason being, sports are actually cheaper than trip darts, and the sport will help him for round 8 more, while the trip dart won't. He sends me some greens on round 7. I just get up another dartling and then able to defend. Then I send him some yellows on round 8 just to force the bolt. Pretty standard stuff, forcing defense as much defense as I can with as little money as necessary. I send him a big yellow rush on round 9 because the AI yellows kind of layer over good, and he leaks a decent amount and gets up another trip dart, so that's a solid rush. Here I bring out my glue just to kind of kill the leads he's sending me, and then I force a jug as well with the leads, of course. He sends me camel lead here, get up my plutonium, go for my farm. He sends me a beefy rush here, and I boost late, which is, oh no, I actually don't boost. I don't boost, and because of that, I leak down a ton. So I honestly maybe should have boosted there just to preserve leaks, but you know, it wasn't the best defend, definitely. I'll send him around 16 rush and he'll do the same, it looks like. Here, I kind of messed up. I boosted way too late and I end up dying. It didn't look like it on the replay, but there was a decent amount of balloons that leaked through, so I kind of choked that a little bit. But it was a good second game, so it's 1-1 right now in the series. And my losing map was Inlets, of course. This is my favorite map to play. Boat Mortar, I'm really comfortable with it. Lots of times I can outplay the person, get a money lead at the end, and then just outstall them because of it. So we'll see how this game goes. He goes for an anti-stall round 1, so I go for my boat as well. He opts to send me, while I just go for my more bananas, so I'll get an extra banana or 2 because of it. But I also leak a little bit, so I'm not sure which start's better. I kind of like the passive start a little bit more, but he opted to go aggro. I just sent him some reds here, just to force the grape shot. That's all I was doing. But the reason he upgraded for reds was because if I sent blues over it, you want the grape shot sooner than later. As you can see, I got my plantation up a little bit before him due to that passive start at the beginning. And I go for my second farm. Then I send him some blacks. The blacks will force the faster shooting. He sends me a bunch of greens, and then blacks over. So here's where I went wrong. I didn't notice that this boat on top was not faster shooting, so I was kind of weirded out why I'm leaking so much to blacks. So if I just got this up to faster shooting, I wouldn't leak so much, but yeah, I guess I didn't see that during the game. He sends me yellows as well, which forces a boost, so honestly not happy with how I'm playing the start of this game. I do have a farm lead, but he's forced a boost and a good bit of defense, so definitely could be playing better at this point. Round 10, I send him a lead. It looks like he might be over farming a little bit, whereas he might not have adequate round 11 defense, so I send him a nice white rush and then boost some whites over it, and it forces a boost from him, so that's solid. He sends me a camel lead. I do the same just to force the camel detection on the mortar. And then he sends me a nice zebra rush here. So I'll go for my destroyer, and since he balloon boosted it, I have to go for another grape shot with faster shooting. And that defends pretty well. I sell the grape shot afterwards because he doesn't have a balloon boost or anything, and then just go for another farm. So I have a nice farm lead here still, and I only am behind by a little bit of eco. So at this point, because of that white rush that forces boost, I think I might be winning at this point. We both mix in with round 16 AI. He sends me a hefty rush, which forces me another grape shot, but I'm able to defend it pretty well. And this is kind of the part of the game that this is the part that changes the game. I go for around 17 BIA, and he tries to punish me here, and I'm able to defend his punish. So that's very solid. And he'll probably continue this aggro into round 18, I'm thinking, so I'm getting ready to defend a Moab. If he doesn't balloon boost it, I don't want to boost against it. If he does balloon boost it, I'll just boost against it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. He doesn't balloon boost it, so I cash out my BI, get up some destroyers, and it's an easy defend. And even though I cashed out, he doesn't have very many farms, and this will be giving me 80 eco every round, so I'll catch up in eco pretty quick. So definitely outplaying with the BIA play here. Round 20 comes, I mix in some stuff with AI because there's AI rainbows on this round, and it forces him to get up a Balloon Buster, so that was solid. He only gets the bank eco for round 20, so that was good for me because he only got 30 instead of 80, and then I send him a Moab, boosted Moab, just to force his boost. So he does have a slight eco lead, but I also have probably about 10k in my 10k in my what's it called? BIA. So I'm definitely outplaying at this point. Round 20, mixing some stuff with the ceramics, pretty standard. And since I got my BIA around 17, I'm not going to go for a second BIA. I'm just going to go for facilities after it. Where in normal games, if I get my BIA like around 15 or something, I'll go for a second BIA. Round 24 AI, I mix in some leads. Again, pretty standard stuff. And then I think I cash out here. Yep, I cash out, get that facility up. I keep my BIA for a little bit longer. And round 25 comes. He opts to not go for the mortar, which is fine. But the thing is, because of that, my defense is actually cheaper than his. As you can see, each one of these is about 2,500. So if he sells 3 of these, he'll get up his mortar. And then he still has another boat on top of that. So I played it a little bit safer with the mortar, and my defense is still cheaper. I go for a trick here to kind of get some more farms, where I actually sell my mortar for a farm, and then I just go for destroyers and a balloon buster to defend the Moabs. So that kind of helps me get even a bigger farm lead here. As you can see, I have a pretty big farm lead. He just sold his BIA, so I have a 2 facility lead at the moment, and I'm also up a boost. So if I play the end game right, I should definitely win this. I'm thinking I'm going to send him round 32. Now, what I need to make yeah, so round 32 is here. I send him, and I probably honestly send him too much again, where I could send him much less and be able to save some more money, because he's just going to mortar stall us either way. He sends me, and I think I might honestly be able to defend this, but I definitely would be able to if I didn't send him so much. I didn't need to send him that much, but it looks like it's just going to be a stall off because I don't think I'm going to be able to defend. So I use both my boosts to kind of break down the layers more because you can stall the Moabs and BFBs longer. Looks like I have a slight advantage on where the length of the BFB is right now, but we'll see who can continue stalling better. Looks like he might have some faster micro than me. It's getting pretty close, and he ends up dying. So that was a really good game. And it's 2-1 right now, best of 5. So the next game was his second losing map, and he chose Ghostly Coast. So this is really good for me because I'm primarily a boat player. So I'm happy that he chose a boat map as his losing. I went Boat Mortar, and he went Boat Boomer. So we'll see how this plays out. Boat Mortar's more passive, Boat Boomer's more aggro. You can kind of see it from round 1.